The Epstein Files exposed a dark exterior world where power, money, and influence operate far beyond public visibility, creating an environment that allowed criminal behavior to survive for years without accountability. On the surface, Jeffrey Epstein appeared as a wealthy financier with global connections, private jets, luxury properties, and access to elite circles. His exterior image was carefully polished: private islands, high-end Manhattan residences, and a lifestyle that projected success and intelligence. But behind this polished exterior was a disturbing network that thrived on secrecy, silence, and fear. The Epstein Files reveal how appearances were used as a shield, allowing influential figures to move freely while victims remained invisible. The wealth surrounding Epstein was not just a symbol of success. It was a weapon that opened doors, bought silence, and delayed justice. The interior of the Epstein Files tells a far more disturbing and complex story, one that goes deep into how systems failed repeatedly. Inside the documents, testimonies, court records, sealed files, and victim statements reveal patterns of protection and negligence. Law enforcement investigations were stalled, legal cases were quietly settled, and plea deals were negotiated under questionable circumstances. The interior workings of Epstein's operations show how recruitment was systematic, targeting vulnerable young individuals through manipulation and financial incentives. Survivors describe how the environment was designed to normalize abuse, isolate victims, and create dependency. The files expose how multiple institutions failed to act decisively, including legal authorities, financial institutions, and regulatory bodies. What is most alarming inside these records is not only the abuse itself, but how often warnings were ignored. Reports were filed, complaints were made, and red flags were raised, yet meaningful action was delayed for years. This interior view shows a chilling reality: when power and money intersect, justice can be intentionally slowed. The Epstein Files also highlight how secrecy agreements and sealed settlements prevented public awareness, allowing the network to survive longer than it ever should have. This internal system functioned like a closed loop, where influence protected influence, and victims were pushed into silence. When examining performance, the Epstein Files demonstrate how effectively this hidden network operated over time. From avoiding prosecution to securing reduced sentences, the performance of this system was shockingly efficient. Epstein's legal defense teams performed their role with precision, exploiting legal loopholes and negotiating behind closed doors. Financial structures were set up to move money discreetly, while travel arrangements allowed unrestricted international movement. The performance of oversight institutions, however, was alarmingly weak. Agencies tasked with protection and enforcement consistently underperformed, allowing the operation to continue. The files reveal how influence was leveraged to maintain control over outcomes, from court proceedings to media coverage. In terms of operational performance, Epstein's network functioned smoothly for decades, not because it was invisible, but because it was protected. The efficiency of silence, fear, and settlement payments became the system's strongest tools. This performance imbalance, where criminals operated effectively while institutions failed, stands as one of the most disturbing revelations. Safety features within the Epstein Files appear almost non-existent when viewed from the victim's perspective. The systems that should have provided protection instead became barriers to justice. Reporting mechanisms failed, accountability structures collapsed, and safeguards meant to protect minors were ignored. The lack of transparency created an unsafe environment where abuse could occur repeatedly. Even after initial convictions, monitoring and restrictions were insufficient. Safety, in this case, was selectively applied, designed to protect reputations rather than people. The files reveal how safety protocols were weakened by influence, allowing risks to remain unaddressed. For victims, there was no safe space, no reliable authority, and no assurance that speaking out would lead to protection rather than retaliation. This complete failure of safety features exposes deep flaws in how powerful individuals are monitored and controlled. The unique selling points of the Epstein Files lie in their ability to expose systemic corruption rather than isolated crime. These documents are not just about one individual, but about a broader ecosystem that enabled exploitation. The files reveal how wealth can distort justice, how influence can silence truth, and how accountability can be delayed indefinitely. Another unique aspect is the sheer volume of interconnected names, institutions, and transactions that suggest this was not a lone operation. The Epstein Files also highlight the role of secrecy, non-disclosure agreements, sealed court records, and confidential settlements as tools of power. What makes these files uniquely disturbing is that many questions remain unanswered, and many individuals named have never faced public scrutiny. The documents force viewers to confront uncomfortable truths about how global elites operate behind closed doors. The price of the Epstein Files is not measured in money, but in human cost. Survivors paid with trauma, lost years and broken trust. Society paid with a loss of faith in justice systems. Institutions paid with credibility that may never fully recover. Financial settlements attempted to place a monetary value on suffering, but no amount could undo the damage. The price also includes missed opportunities to prevent future harm, as early intervention could have saved countless victims. These files remind us that when justice is delayed, the cost multiplies. The longer silence is maintained, the higher the price becomes for everyone involved. In conclusion, the Epstein Files exposed a reality that many suspected but few could prove. They reveal a world where power protects itself, money bends rules, and truth struggles to surface. This is not just a historical scandal, it is a warning. The documents challenge us to question systems, demand transparency, and protect those without power. The story of Epstein is not just about crimes committed, but about failures allowed. If there is any lesson to take from these files, it is that accountability must never depend on status. Only when transparency replaces secrecy can justice truly exist.